The right-hander with a fluid motion and the good fastball, Nino Espinosa, who will be going out after his second victory of the year. We'll be back to take a look at the starting lineups in just a moment. Third at second base, Joe Morgan. Batting in the fourth spot and playing left field, George Foster. Danny Dreesen will bat fifth and play first base. Hitting number 6 at shortstop, Dave Concepcion. Cesar Geronimo will be in center field and he'll bat seventh. Hitting eighth and doing the Cincinnati catching today, Don Werner. And batting ninth and pitching, left-hander Doug Capilla. Again for Cincinnati, it's Rose at third base, Griffey in right field, and Morgan at second base. Foster in left, Dreesen playing first, Concepcion at shortstop. While the bottom third will have Geronimo in center, Werner catching, and Capilla pitching. For the New York Mets, Len Randall will lead off. He'll play third base. Batting in the 2 position, right fielder Elliot Maddox. Steve Henderson, who was a leadoff batter last night, will be hitting third today, and he'll play left field. Batting fourth at first base, Willie Montañez. John Stearns will do the catching, and he'll bat fifth. Hitting sixth in center field, Lee Mazzilli. Bobby Valentine will be at second base, batting seventh. Doug Flynn will hit eighth and play shortstop. And batting ninth and pitching for New York, right-hander Nino Espinosa. Again for the Mets, it's Randall at third, Maddox in right field, and Henderson in left field. Montañez at first, Stearns catching, Mazzilli in center. With Valentine at second, Flynn at short, and Espinosa pitching. So around the field, you cannot find a better day for baseball than that which we will be playing under here in New York today. Temperatures expected to reach into the low 70s. Blue skies, a bit of a breeze blowing, but an outstanding spring afternoon for baseball. Nino Espinosa going to the mound with a record of a win and a loss in 4 prior starts. No complete games and an earned run average of .312. As we discussed last night, the Mets have been getting outstanding pitching. Their club leading the National League in collective earned run average. Talked to Joe Torre earlier today, and we pointed out last night, it's been a surprise to him. He expected the offense to be much more productive than it has been up to this point. He felt like he had good pitching, but he didn't think it was going to be this good. But he prefaces all of that by saying, look, we've only played 20 ball games. We've got a long way to go yet, and we expect our people to start hitting, and we hope that the pitching can maintain the level of excellence throughout the rest of the year that it has so far throughout the first 20 games of the season. Pete Rose had a couple of hits last night. He now stands 9 away from 3,000. And as we discussed with our Vice President of Marketing, Roger Rule, you certainly have to feel that Pete's chances of hitting that 3,000 mark are very, very good. Sometime next week, the Reds will have the Phillies in Monday and Wednesday nights. 2 off days, next Tuesday and next Thursday, and then it'll be the Montreal Expos coming to town next Friday night for a 4-game weekend, including the first doubleheader of the season a week from tomorrow. He jumped his batting average last night up to .298. No homers and 8 RBIs. Espinosa working with battery mate John Stearns, getting his thoughts together on the mound as Pete steps in to bat as a left-handed hitter. The right-hander with a wind, the kick and the pitch. Rose takes the first pitch on the outside for a strike, and this game is underway. Reds are 12-7 after the 5-1 win last night that kept them a game and a half behind the Dodgers, who won their 5th straight, 7-1 over the Cardinals. High and inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. The 1-1 on the way, swung on and fouled off and out of play to the left, so Espinosa jumps out in front of Rose at 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ken Griffey on deck, and he'll be followed by Joe Morgan. New York outfield playing Rose just about straight away. Mazzilli in center, shading him toward right a couple of steps. Here's a pitch, and Pete takes this one high and inside. 2-2 the count on leadoff batter Pete Rose. Nino, a quick worker. Rose swings and he misses. Espinosa strikes Rose out with a high heater. 1 down in the inning, and here's right fielder Ken Griffey. If you're in the downtown Cincinnati area this afternoon, stop by the Reds ticket offices at 580 Walnut in the stadium and purchase your seats for upcoming dates. They're open today until 5:30. Griffey 0 for 5 last night, batting .309 with a homer and 6 RBIs. He takes a strike, an off-speed pitch on the outside corner. That's high. The count is a ball and a strike. New York, with a loss last night, is 2 under .500. They've won 9 and lost 11. And as far as divisional play over here in the East is concerned, they're 2.5 games behind Montreal. Griffey fouls it down the left side. Ball, 2 strikes. Montreal leading the division by a half game over the Cubs. The Expos 10-7 to Chicago's 10-8. Philadelphia, a game back at 8-7. Then come the Pirates playing 500 through 16 games. They're a game and a half out. Then the Mets and then the Cardinals. Inside, spins Griffey out of the box, 2-2. St. Louis losing last night to the Dodgers under new manager Ken Boyer, who was named to take over for Vern Rapp yesterday afternoon. Griffey grounds to short. Flynn makes the pickup, and his throw to first is in plenty of time. 2 out. So Pete is struck out. Kenny has bounced to short, and to the plate comes second baseman Joe Morgan. Joe out of the lineup last night, but boy, I'll tell you, the fill-in job that Junior Kennedy did was outstanding defensively. Morgan batting .269, clubbed his 4th home run of the year. In the 9th inning Wednesday night off Dodger left-hander Doug Rauh with a man on to give him 16 runs batted in. Ball 1. In the Met infield, Montañez is at first, Valentine at second, Flynn at short, Randall at third. 2 balls and no strikes. In left field, Steve Henderson. In center, Lee Mazzillion. And right, Elliot Maddox. 2 out, bases empty in the top of the first. And Morgan a pitch away from getting a walk, with George Foster due up next. 3-0 the count. Joe gets a green light and fouls this one straight back and out of play. And Sparky Anderson turning Morgan loose on the 3-0 pitch and a foul back, as Espinosa now requests and gets a new baseball from plate umpire Jim Quick. On the bases, Jerry Crawford doing it at first, crew chief Doug Harvey at second, and Andy Olson at third. Morgan waiting in the batter's box. Espinosa behind, 3 balls and a strike as he cites a sign from John Stearns, rocks, and he deals. That is hammered to right field, a base hit. Morgan picking on a 3-1 fastball and lining a rope to right. So the first hit on the afternoon belongs to Morgan, and that extends things for George Foster. George is back in the cleanup spot today, but he found that number 3 position much to his liking last night. He homered, singled, and tripled in 4 official times up, throwing a sacrifice fly to drive in 2, and he's batting .338. 4 home runs and 11 runs batted in. Morgan edging off the bag against a holding Montañez. The slow come down by Espinosa, the pitch, and Foster takes the ball. They estimated the home run that George hit to left center last night as between 450 and 500 feet off of Jerry Koosman. Now Foster steps out as Espinosa goes into a stretch. Okay, the throw to first, and Morgan steps back in. Joe has not been running much here in the early part of the season. He's attempted 6 steals, 4 stolen bases. There he goes. Foster swings and misses. Throw down to second. Ball got away from Bobby Valentine as he goes tumbling head over heels. So Morgan credited with his 5th steal of the season. Doug Flynn going out to pick up the ball on the outfield grass and left as Stearns' throw kicked away from Valentine, who turned a somersault out at second base. Foster swung on the pitch, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike. That's the 22nd steal for the Reds in 33 tries this season. The club leader, Danny Dreesen, with 7. Foster takes it low and away. He had an idea about going after it, but held up. 2-1. Danny Dreesen will be up next. Morgan with a 2-out single to right and a stolen second. Now Foster back in and waiting on the 2-1 pitch. And here it is. That's ball, strike 2 call on the outside corner. 2-2. Only one other day game in the National League. San Francisco will be at Pittsburgh. The Padres and the Phillies, the Cubs and the Braves, the Expos and the Astros, and the Dodgers and the Cardinals playing tonight. Foster takes strike 3. A fastball that cut the heart of the plate. Got him looking. Espinosa with 2 strikeouts in the first. Cincinnati, no runs, a hit, 1 left. After a half inning of play at Shea, the Reds nothing, and the Mets are coming to bed.
When you want to know the ones you love and the things you love will always be stamp or coin collection insured to its full value? How about your antiques, furs, or art treasures? They could have grown greatly in value since the beginning. If lost or stolen, they could never be replaced. But it would help a lot to know you'd get a fair settlement through your Grange Insurance Inland Marine policy. Ask your Grange agent for a quote on whatever you want covered. No obligation. Grange wants to be your partner in protection.
There's nothing like the feeling that you get when you know you're safe now and secure. Protected by Grange Mutual. Grange Insurance, to be sure.
Well, a big date is coming up at Riverfront a week from today. It'll be Uniform Shirt Day as the Reds take on the Expos in the Saturday afternoon game. Make plans to be on hand and be sure to stop by the Reds ticket agency nearest you and purchase your tickets in advance. In Dayton at Reich's downtown, in Columbus at all Central Ticket Office locations, in Lexington at Graves Cox, in Louisville at Allied Sporting Goods, and in Indianapolis at Ross and Babcock. As Doug Capilla loosens up to Don Werner, we'll pause now for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is yours on Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Reds for Central Ohio.
Lenny Randall, Elliot Maddox, and Steve Henderson will be the threesome coming to the bat for the Mets here in the bottom of the first. We stand corrected on the statement concerning Kenny Boyers managing the Cardinals last night. He has not yet officially taken over as manager of that club. Interim skipper Jack Kroll managed the team last night as Boyer apparently is finishing up his duties as manager of the Rochester club in the International League. So possibly today, and we would expect no later than tomorrow, Boyer will take over as the new skipper of the Cardinal team. You heard last night's game. You know that, again, Joe Torre has shaken his batting order up. He had Steve Henderson leading off last night. And today it's Lenny Randall back in that number one spot where he spent so much of last year and also so far this season. The pitch is low for ball one. Capilla 0-1 with a 9 earned run average, his third start. But a 3-0 career record against this New York club. Ball two, 2-0. His first big league decision back in 1976 while with the Cardinals was against the Mets and picked up a couple of victories over this team last year. Randall batting 164, 3 RBIs. Had one of the 3 New York hits last night, and that pitch is low, ball 3. Doug back to the plate, needing a strike, and he could not get it. I think both he and Donnie Werner thought that pitch, at least that pitch, was in the strike zone at the knees, but Lenny Randall draws a leadoff walk, and in now is right fielder Elliot Maddox.
Marty, you have to feel that Doug is in a little better zone. As you mentioned, he walks Randall on, well, a couple of close pitches, but remember the other starts, all his wildness was high and outside, so this does look better, although he's walking.
Maddox proved to be tough for the Reds pitchers to throw strikes to last night. He walked 3 times and then had a base hit his last time up. Here's a pitch to this right-handed batter, and it's low and inside for a ball. So Maddox has been to the plate officially 3 times since coming off the disabled list earlier this week. Went into play against the Pirates in the 11th-inning game Wednesday night, went to the plate a couple of times, and started for the first time here last night. Rose even up with a bag at third. Concepcion and Morgan at double play depth. Randall leads. He likes to run. Here's a pitch, and that's inside. 2 balls and no strikes, and Capilla has not yet thrown a strike. Time call now. Sparky Anderson coming out of the Reds dugout. He's going to be joined on the mound by Donnie Werner and Davey Concepcion and trying to rectify what has started out to be a rough beginning for Doug Capilla. The 4 pitches that he threw to Len Randall, as Joe mentioned, were not in a bad zone at all. He had his pitches down, and a couple of close pitches went against him, but the first 2 deliveries to Elliot Maddox have been way inside and low. Now Jim Quick, the plate umpire, heads toward the mound to hurry things along, and before he can get halfway out there, Sparky Anderson breaks it off. So Doug will resume his work to Maddox. 2 balls and no strikes. Randall at first. We're scoreless in the bottom half of inning number 1. Steve Henderson on deck. Capilla works. The runner goes. The pitch is taken for a ball. The throw down to second was offline. Took Davey Concepcion to the first base side of the bag to grab Johnny Bench's throw, and Len Randall gets credit for a steal. 3 balls and no strikes. Randall stealing his third base in 8 attempts. And right away, we're going to get some activity now in the Reds bullpen. Right-hander Dale Murray starts to throw as Maddox gets a walk. We were witness to some fine control pitching by Doug Wednesday night against the Dodgers. He pitched a couple of innings. He gave up 2 hits and a run, but struck out 3 and didn't walk anybody. Now this afternoon as a starter, he has thrown 8 pitches, and all of them have been out of the strike zone. Randall at second, Maddox at first, Steve Henderson, the New York left fielder, hitting .171. 4 homers, 12 RBIs. Pitch. That's taken for a strike. Doug checking the runners and back to Henderson at the plate. Swung on. Ground ball by Danny Dreesen into right field. Rounding third. Coming to the plate is Randall. The throw will go into second base as Maddox scoops to third, and New York takes a quick 1-0 lead. Hard ground ball that's shot by Danny Dreesen. Produces for Steve Henderson his 13th run batted in. And the Mets have him on the corners for cleanup batter Willie Montañez. Willie hitting an uncharacteristic 174. This is one of the guys we were talking about as simply getting off to a slow start. You expect him to hit along with Lenny Randall, Steve Henderson after the kind of year he had last year. Doug Capilla right now is trying to get an out. The first 3 men have reached on him as he works to Montañez, and the pitch is over on the outside corner. A breaking ball for a strike. Runners off the bags at first and third. Montañez swings and he misses as Doug locates a pitch well on the inside. Right in on Montañez's hands. It's quickly 2 strikes. John Stearns, the on-deck hitter, walks to Randall and Maddox. A base hit to right by Henderson gives New York the lead. The pitch and a high fly ball into right center field. That should be deep enough to score Maddox, and it's going to be Geronimo making the catch. And Maddox tagging comes in to score, making it 2-0 New York as Henderson holds at first. So both walks come back to haunt Capilla. Montañez gets his 5th RBI, and with 1 away, here's the catcher, John Stearns. Murray throwing down in the Cincinnati bullpen. The runner goes. They call for a pitch out. Werner's throw down to second. Picks away from Joe Morgan and is picked up by Davey Concepcion. That's the second steal of the inning for the Mets. Randall had an earlier steal, and now it's Henderson coming up with the honors. Well, that steal runs New York right out of a ground ball double play possibility. Steve Henderson's first steal and his first attempt of the year. Pitch is high. 2 balls and no strikes. Ball 3 is high and away. Well, you speculate and look ahead and think what might happen should Stearns get on. Doug Capilla may be yanked. And having retired but 1 batter here in the inning. The 3-0 coming, and Stearns gets a walk. So that's the 3rd base on balls allowed. Runners at first and second again for center fielder Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli checking in at 233. Hitless in 3 trips last night. He's homered twice on the year. Has knocked in 4 runs. Pitch on the way, and he swings and he misses. Three walks in the inning, a base hit, a sacrifice fly have 2 Met runners across the plate. New York with good speed out at second with Steve Henderson with the lead. There's a pitch that's low, and the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Time call now as Don Werner goes to the mound along with Joe Morgan to talk with Capilla. Dale Murray was up after the second walk issued to Elliot Maddox. Sparky Anderson not taking any chances at all that this game could get out of hand early this afternoon, but still giving Doug all the chances possible to get things together control-wise. Count even, 1 ball and 1 strike on Mazzilli. Left-hander throws to the plate, and it's low, ball 2. 2-1. New York offense that has been able to hit as a team but 191 this season, and you hate to give them this kind of opportunity, putting men on the easy way when they have been struggling as they have offensively. Mazzilli steps away from the plate, now climbs back in. Pitch. Ball 3. Well, a pitch away from loading him up for second baseman Bobby Valentine. Now it's Mazzilli checking in with third base coach Dal Maxwell to see what the situation will be here, taking or swinging away. That's ball 4 high, and that loads him up. Well, Doug Capilla has just served up his 4th base on balls, and he'll deal now with Bobby Valentine. Sparky Anderson on his way back to the mound. That's going to be it for Capilla. Well, another off outing for this young man who pitched so well control-wise against the Dodgers, but today given a chance to start for the 3rd time this season, again having the problems that has betrayed him ever since spring training. Inconsistent control. Dale Murray will be coming on in a bases-loaded 1-out situation as Capilla leaves, having retired but 1 batter. So we've got a break in the action here in the first inning at Shea Stadium. 2-0 New York leading, and we'll be back with more in just a moment.
Hi, this is Nancy Seaver.
And I'm Nancy's husband, Tom.
When we first left New York to live in Cincinnati, we wondered what we'd do for entertainment when Tom wasn't pitching for the Reds.
Luckily, we found the answer right away at Kings Island.
That's right, Kings Island.
You see, most people think of Kings Island as just the best theme park in the entire Midwest.
And while the park's unbeatable, Kings Island is really a total vacation center.
Our family lives at the Jack Nicklaus Golf Center, which is part of the entertainment complex. At the Kings Island Inn, adjacent to the park, you can enjoy swimming and tennis. Or if you like the outdoors, try the Kings Island Campground. Plus, this summer, the National College Football Hall of Fame opens as a new part of Kings Island.
Wow, there's really something fun for everyone. So plan now to come to Cincinnati and watch Tom and the Reds. Bring the entire family and make it a doubleheader. The Reds and Kings Island.
Kings Island. You know, it's just about the best thing to happen to Cincinnati since Tom Seaver.
Oh, Tom.
Dale Murray on now in the first inning. The Mets have struck for 2 runs, and they have the bases loaded with Bobby Valentine at the plate after Dale completes his warm-ups to Donnie Werner. Murray making his 8th appearance all in relief, and he brings to the Shea Stadium mound a record of a win, no losses, a .332 earned run average. This is the earliest that he has appeared in a game for the Reds this season. He worked 2 innings against the Dodgers Wednesday night, giving up 4 hits and a run. Struck out a batter and issued an intentional walk, but by and large, he has pitched outstanding in relief this season. He's ready to go to work with Valentine. Bobby batting .211 with 2 runs knocked in. Really have to admire this guy. He requested permission from the Mets during spring training to begin working out at second base, which he received the right to do, and now with the disabling of Tim Foley, he's their regular second baseman for a while. Here's a pitch to him, and he fouls it up above us and out of play. Certainly not gracious by any means defensively at that position, but boy, he really battled him last night and turned in an outstanding play on Danny Dreesen to rob him of a base hit late in the game with men on. 3 on, 1 out, 2 in. Murray out of the stretch. Swing and a foul off Werner's mitt. Strike 2, the count on Valentine. Doug Flynn to follow. Murray would like to be able to get Valentine to hit the ball on the ground at somebody in the Cincinnati infield and maybe get a double play to end the inning. Ready with a strike 2 pitch. He lines one into left field for a base hit. 1 run scores. The ball bounces off Foster's glove. That's going to allow Stearns to score. Mazzilli to third. The throw to second. Not in time to get Valentine. Dale Murray making a monumental 2-strike mistake pitch as Valentine lines a single into left. The error, single and out, allowing the man to go to second. Only going to second. They will score an error against George Foster. I would assume 2 RBIs will be credited to Bobby Valentine.
Well, Marty, of course, you can really give him 2 errors there because of the mental error. When he bobbles the ball, you forget about the man going to third, keep that guy at first base, and you still got your double play in order. But now, you got 2 runners in scoring position.
Here's Doug Flynn. He shoots one down the right field line, and that'll fall foul into the seats. Well, give Valentine 2 RBIs, charge Foster with an error, allowing Valentine to go to second. And a big first inning for the New York Mets with 4 in, 2 more in scoring position, and still but 1 man out. That's bounced over the mound and fielded by Concepcion. Tagged the runner and threw to first to get the double play. He got Valentine hung up off the bag, tagged him, and then threw quickly onto Danny Dreesen to get the double play, and I would imagine they got it before the run scored. In the inning, New York gets 4 runs on 2 base hits, 1 Cincinnati error, and 1 man left on. At the end of 1 complete, the Mets 4 and the Reds nothing.
The folks at Stroh's want you all to know that the Red Rooters Club is sponsoring a big Memorial Day weekend for you with our hard-hitting Reds beginning Saturday, May the 27th. This Memorial Weekend event includes hotel accommodations for 2 nights in Nashville, where you'll spend a day at the musical theme park, attend an old-time reunion barbecue, and enjoy a special dinner in your hotel. Then on to Atlanta, where you'll receive hotel accommodations for 2 nights, including dinner each night. You'll have reserved seats for 2 exciting games between the Big Red Machine and the Braves. Round-trip transportation is included, and to top it all off, you'll be our guests at a gala Stroh's hospitality party. Here's your chance to join the Red Rooters and follow the Reds. For complete details on this sports holiday, contact the Barney Rapp Agency at 513-381-7277. That's 513-381-7277. We at Stroh's hope you can make it. It'll be great, just like Stroh's.
Reds looking at a 4-run deficit as they get ready to bat off Nino Espinosa in the top of the second. The pitching line on Doug Capilla, 1/3 of an inning. He allowed a base hit, walked 4, and surrendered 4 runs, all earned. Danny Dreesen to be followed by David Concepcion, to be followed by Cesar Geronimo here in the second. Danny on a bit of a hitting tear after 3 hits against the Dodgers in the wrap-up to that series on Wednesday. Came back with a couple of singles last night, hitting .311, 2 homers, 10 RBIs. Well, Espinosa being staked to a big 4-run lead, but a long, long way to go. Here's his pitch to Dreesen. That's taken for a strike. In the American League, in the bottom of the second, Minnesota leads the New York Yankees 1-0. Breaking ball hangs high, a ball and a strike. High, 2 balls and 1 strike to Dreesen. This is a man, of course, who during spring training, Sparky Anderson proclaimed would be the next most valuable player on the Reds ball club. Checks his swing on a breaking pitch in on him. Espinosa behind 3-1. Danny out of the gate well, batting .311. He hammers one high and deep to right center field. Mazzilli runs toward the .396 marker. Gone! Danny Dreesen takes the grand tour as he jumps on a 3-1 pitch and rides it out of here. Airmail Express over the wall in right center and dropping at the base of the scoreboard where the numerals 420 stand out. So he got every bit of that pitch as the Reds start the road back. They now trail 4-1. Third long ball of the year for Dreesen. Here's a guy who hit his first homer of the season last night. A fourth inning leadoff home run for Davey Concepcion. In for a call strike. Bluffs a bunt, takes a fastball up and away, 1-1. Well, the Reds finding Shea Stadium much to their liking. 2 home runs last night and now 1 early this afternoon. 2-1 to count. Espinosa checking with Stearns. His pitch is swung on and fouled back. That's the first home run that Nino Espinosa has given up this season in 26 2/3 innings plus. That's pitching staff as a team has allowed but 9, and 5 of them have been served up by Jerry Kuzman. Breaking pitch away. 3-2. And the payoff to the Red shortstop. That's a jam job that has Davey popping it up and falling back into the stands behind the New York dugout. In the American League tonight, Baltimore will be at Chicago, Milwaukee at Kansas City, Boston at Texas, and Toronto at California. Cleveland and Oakland will be going at 4:30 this afternoon, Eastern Time. Again, the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss, and Espinosa has his third strikeout. Don't forget College Night is next Friday when the Reds and the Expos get together at Riverfront. You can hear the pregame sounds of the contemporary rock group Cowboy before the game beginning at 7:10. Following the home run by Dreesen, Espinosa strikes out Concepcion and will work now against Cesar Geronimo. The Chief batting at .302 with a homer, 10 RBIs. He swings and fouls to Stearns miss. Strike 1. Inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Geronimo waiting on the break-even pitch and takes a breaking ball low. Espinosa throws a lot of breaking stuff here in the first couple of innings and has not had a great deal of success getting him over. Donnie Werner will follow. 2 balls and a strike. A run in on a home run, the third of the year by Danny Dreesen. 1 down in the inning with the bases empty. Strike 2 call. 2-2. Strike 3 call. Running with a tailing fastball, let her high. Well, Nino Espinosa rolling up the strikeouts in abundance early in the game with now 4. And the 2-out batter will be Donnie Werner. Don makes his second start of the season as Johnny Bench gets a day off, and there's a possibility that Sparky might rest 1 tomorrow. He was talking earlier about possibly sitting down Geronimo. There's a ball outside. Moving Foster to center field and playing Mike Lum in left against the right-hander Pat Zachary. 2 balls and no strikes. Werner officially has been to the plate 4 times, has 1 base hit. High, ball 3. Espinosa back behind the mound, rubbing up the baseball. Trying to run his record on the year to 2-1 this afternoon. And leads 4-1 with 2 out in the top of the second. He has walked Werner on 4 pitches. Well, Dale Murray, who came on in the first in relief of Doug Capilla, will stand in as a batter. Been up one time this season without a hit. Now Joe Pignatano, Rube Walker, the Mets pitching coach, goes to the mound to talk with Espinoza and has the entire infield crowded around him, save shortstop Doug Flynn. Espinoza has, at least based on his record this season, had some control problems. He came into this game having walked 8 in 25 2/3 innings. Well, Dale Murray will step in as Walker returns to the New York dugout. Following a 2-out walk to Don Werner, preceded by back-to-back strikeouts to Concepcion and Geronimo after Dreesen homered to lead off the inning. Randall creeping in from third. Murray takes a pitch high for ball 1. Top of the third at Pittsburgh. Pirates 1, Giants nothing. San Francisco got them by a run last night with 3 in the 9th inning to defeat the Pirates 5-4. 2 balls, no strikes. Strike is called to Murray as pitcher faces pitcher. 2-1 now. Werner with a short lead. Murray, a strike to him. 2-2. And a pitch. That's foul back. Count holding 2 balls, 2 strikes. In case you missed the late scores last night, Detroit beat Seattle 5-4. Cleveland 6-2, a winner over Oakland. California beat Toronto 5-4. In 11, Texas 5, Boston 4. The Rangers on a bit of a tear now. 2-2. Ball 3 high and the count full on Murray, so Werner will be running. Kansas City over Milwaukee 7-6. Baltimore 6-4 defeated the White Sox, and the Yankees beat Minnesota 3-1. Here's a payoff, and strike 3 swinging on a pitch that was up and out of the strike zone. Murray went after it, and Espinoza is out of the inning. 1 run on 1 hit. The end of an inning and a half. The Mets lead the Reds 4-1.
The big red machine is rolling down the street with Big Red Smokies, the big league treat.
Next time you go to see the Reds at Riverfront Stadium, try a Conn's Big Red Smoky. What's a Big Red Smoky? A different kind of hot dog. Bigger, plumper, juicier, downright delicious. And if you can't go to the home game, bring the game home. Conn's Big Red Smokies are at your favorite store right now. Your family will love them.
Big Red Smokies.
And don't forget Conn's Wieners and Brats, also served at Riverfront Stadium. Try all 3 at the game, in your kitchen, or on the backyard grill. They make a triple treat that can't be beat. Conn's Wieners and Brats and Big Red Smokies.
Conn's Big Red Smokies.
Bottom of the second about to unfold, but before the Mets bat, we'll pause again for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Cincinnati Reds baseball is yours on Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, the home of the Reds for Central Ohio.
If your mom is a big Reds fan, we'll pass along word from the Reds 580 gift shop that they have a lot of unique Mother's Day gift ideas for you. You'll find hand-painted purses and needlecraft kits. Any mom would be thrilled with a Reds charm or pendant. And if you know some youngsters looking for small or inexpensive gifts for mom, there are lots of little things, too, like a floppy hat or an apothecary jar or a bubble-style umbrella. Mother's Day is coming up May 14th. Stop by the Reds 580 gift shop, corner of 6th and Walnut in downtown Cincinnati. Espinoza starts off the home second, and Murray deals him a fastball for a taken strike. This one foul to the screen, and Dale jumps out in front quickly at 0-2. Lenny Randall and Elliot Maddox to follow. It's 4 New York and 1 Cincinnati. High with a fastball. 1-2. There's strike 3 call, and Dale Murray gets his first strikeout. Now we go back to the top of the Mets batting order as Lenny Randle steps in. He walked to begin inning number 1, stole second, and eventually scored the first New York run on a base hit by Steve Henderson. He takes a strike. What a daring player, not only on the bases, but his play at third base. 1 ball and 1 strike. But it certainly provided New York with some help in their offense, although it certainly is not reflected at this early stage of the season. That pitch is high, ball 3. Or 2 balls and a strike make it. They've got 3-0 on the scoreboard, and now they correct that. At the knees, a fastball for strike 2 call. 2-2. And ball 3, so Murray full on Randle. Theo coming into the first inning with the bases loaded gave up a 2-run single to Valentine. The runs, of course, charged to Capilla, but then got Flynn to hit into a 6-3 double play. 3-2 pitch, and he walks Lenny Randle. Dale Murray walks his first batter in the 5th allowed so far by Cincinnati pitching. Elliot Maddox also a walk and also a run scored in the first. Randle running in the first inning with a steal of second. Let's see how Joe Torre will play it here in inning number 2 as Dale throws on to Danny Dreesen. Pitch taken high, ball 1. With a long look in for the sign, and now throws on to first base again. So paying a lot of attention to the base runner, Lenny Randle. Trying to keep him close. Pitch. That's in for a strike. 1-1 to count. Randle surprisingly a lot younger than I think most people would expect him to be. Been around, plays with the Tigers in Washington back in '71, Texas a couple of years, the Yankees. He hits one foul off the end of the bat. 1 ball and 2 strikes. His best years spent in New York. He batted .303 as a starter in 1974. And then came back in 55 games the following year to bat .307, but then he's been hit quite hard over the last few years with injuries, primarily knee injuries. Dreesen getting the throw from Murray at first. Appeared in 18 games 2 years ago with the Yankees, but 49 games last year with Baltimore, batting .262. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One away in the bottom of the second. Espinosa struck out. Randle walked. Throw to first again. The Mets up by 3 runs, getting 4 in the first. The Reds with a run on the top of the second on a home run by Dreesen. Murray taking a lot of time. And he'll throw to first again, and Randle dives back in with the right hand. Maddox takes it inside and low. It's ball 3, 3-2. When you think about the things that Larry Shepard and Joe discussed in the pregame show today concerning the pitching and how the feeling was the starting pitching would be so strong, and the bullpen, although improved, still a question mark. Throw to first again. It had to prove itself, and of course, as Shep related, been the bullpen that has up to this point been able to bail out the starters. Reds with but one complete game in the first 19 and now make it 20 counting today. There goes Randall swinging a miss. Throw down to second. They got him hung up. The ball goes off Concepcion's glove and Randall is able to go back to first base. Maddox strikes out. Randall was on the move. Donnie Werner came up throwing. And Randall realized a mistake in his ways, put on the brakes, and the throw hitting off Davies' glove going into shallow center, enabling Randall to right himself and get back to first.
Marty, I think Davey took his eye off the ball. He realized that Randall had stopped, and I think he really had ideas of getting rid of the ball, well, before he caught it.
In its simplest terms. 2 away in the inning, both on strikeouts. Here's Steve Henderson. He produced a run with a base hit to right in the first, and also scored a run himself later on. Ball is low to him. Boy, if this young man can get himself on track, he could pave the way for the Mets as a team to start improving on their overall offense. Werner calling for a pitch out, but nothing going on down at first base with Len Randall. Ball and a strike on left fielder Henderson. Steve waving the bat around as he watches Murray throw to first. Now the pitch inside. 2 balls and 1 strike. I'll make it 3-0. 3 balls and no strikes on Henderson. On deck is first baseman Willie Montañez with 2 out. Swing and a miss. Henderson spinning on the pitch and did not get it. Henderson taking his time getting in. Murray likewise working slowly on the mound. Here's a swing and a pop-up back of first down the right field line, and it's a foul ball. For the Reds, that ball fortunately falling foul. Lenny Randall, who can run, was 3/4 of the way toward third base as he now cuts back across the infield. That's his cap and helmet from second base umpire Doug Harvey. 3-2 on Steve Henderson with 2 away. Now Dreesen, who had been holding at first base against Randall, will be playing off the bag behind the runner. Here's a stop at the belt. The 3-2 pitch bounced to short. Concepcion, no play at second. He throws to first. It looked like Davey was looking for Morgan to cover the bag at second base, but Joe was not there, so Davey comes to first to get the inning-ending out on Steve Henderson. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left. We'll go to the third with a score. Mets 4 and the Reds 1.
Well, folks, it's that time of year again. Time to cool it with Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling. All of Columbus is cooling it this spring and summer with Westinghouse add-on air conditioners installed by those cool it experts at Crawford Nichols. Westinghouse add-on air conditioning is a wise investment for the homeowner. Air conditioning adds to the resale value of your home. More important, it allows your loved ones to relax at home during these hot spring and summer months. Installation is a breeze for the experts at Crawford Nichols. An add-on air conditioner can be connected directly to your present home heating system. You'll be glad to know that Crawford Nichols offers 24-hour emergency service. This assures cooling comfort all season long. Call Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling today for a free home cooling estimate. To cool it, call 876-1234. You'll find Crawford Nichols in the Yellow Pages under Heating and Cooling.
Reds will try to close the gap, but right now, a 3-run separation between the two clubs as we come calling in the third inning with Pete Rose to start it off. And here with the play-by-play, Joe Nuxall.
All right, Marty, thank you. Rose, Griffey, and Morgan, the top 3 in the order here in the third inning. Pete let out the game by striking out against Espinosa. Rose, a .298 batting average, has driven in 8, 6 doubles and a triple. Reds have had 2 hits of Espinosa. A single by Morgan in the first inning, and Danny Dreesen's leadoff homer in the second. Espinosa delivers to Rose. It's swung on, lined over the jumping Flynn into left field, a base hit. Steve Henderson playing it back to the infield, and Pete is now 8 away from that 3,000 mark. He wastes no time leading off here in the third inning. First pitch delivered by Espinosa, a shot to left field. 3 hits for the Reds, and here's Kenny Griffey. Ken bounced to Flynn at shortstop in the first inning. First pitch to Griffey is under the knees, a ball. For Pete, he now has a 10-game hitting streak. Pete has now hit safely in 18 of the 20 games played. Throw over to first. Rose steps back. Espinosa, the stretch, and the pitch. Griffey swings and misses a breaking ball in on him. 1-1. Lenny Randle, the New York third baseman, on the grass, protecting against the bunt. Joe Morgan standing on deck. Mets scoring 4 times in the first. They lead it 4-1. The 1-1 to Griffey. Down low, it's 2 balls to strike. Penny, a .309 batting average with a home run and 6 RBIs. New York outfield about straight away to Griffey. Espinosa again throwing to first, and Pete back easily. A right-hander throwing in the New York bullpen. Griffey swings on Espinosa's next pitch and fouls it out of play to the left. Count even 2-2 to Griff. Rose leads at first. Espinosa to the belt and delivers. Griffey swings, hits it well to right center field, and that one is off the top of the wall. Rose on his way to third. He's going to be held up right there as Valentine's throw is right on target to the plate. So the first 2 up have reached here in the third inning. Rose a single, and Ken Griffey missing a home run by 2 feet in deep right center field. So the bats are coming alive here in the third inning. That'll bring Joe Morgan to the plate with Griffey at second base, Rose at third, nobody out. Joe is single in the first inning, and right now, Willie Montanez is the mound talking to Nino Espinosa. He heads back to first base. Griffey, his 6th double of the year. He shot that one off the wall in deep right center, just to the right of the 396 mark. Espinosa works in the stretch. His pitch to Morgan, and Joe takes an off-speed pitch, high a ball. Morgan hitting .269, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. He leads the Reds in that department. Time call now. Doug Flynn heading to the New York dugout, and apparently has some glove problems. And we'll see. Bobby Valentine asking for some sunglasses. Inning started off with Rose hitting the first pitch delivered by Espinosa. A line drive to left field, and then Griffey drilling one high off the fence in right center. Now the walks have hurt us. Doug Capella walked 4 batters in the first inning, and 3 of the 4 scored. Started off by walking Lenny Randle and Maddox on 8 pitches, and then the single by Steve Henderson to drive in a run. Walked John Stearns, walked Lee Mazzilli, and then Valentine single to left to drive in a couple. All right, Flynn back to shortstop. Count 1 ball, no strikes to Joe Morgan. Rose at third, Griffey at second. Espinosa has the sign and delivers. Morgan swings and pops it up. Off the mask, John Stearns. He's in foul territory, and he's having trouble, but he finally catches up with it. Joe Morgan popping up to John Stearns in foul territory. One away now, and the batter is George Foster. Foster was called out on strikes in the first inning. George with 4 home runs, his 4th coming last night. He's driven in 11. New York infield playing back. Espinosa working from the stretch. He delivers. Foster swings and shoots it foul off to the right. Young man looking at his hand. George hit the ball right off the end of the bat. Rose at third leads. Griffey at second. Espinosa checking in with Stearns has the sign. And the 0-1 to Foster. That's swung on and again hit off the end of the bat foul to the right side. Well, Espinosa 0-2 now with George Foster. Espinosa to the belt. And the 0-2. Swung on and missed. Big strikeout for Dino Espinosa. That's his 6th. And he got Foster with a fastball. All right, here's Danny Dreesen. And Dan with his 3rd home run of the year in the 2nd inning leading off. The ball hit over the fence in deep right center field. Well, Espinosa an out away from getting out of serious trouble. Inning started off with Rose singling, and then Kenny Griffey doubled, but we've been unable to produce a run. Pitch to Dreesen, high and outside a ball. Espinosa sets his pitch. Dreesen takes it low. It's 2 balls, no strikes. Dave Concepcion on deck. See if Espinosa gives Dreesen anything good to hit. Here's the 2-0. Breaking ball was high. 3 balls, no strikes. Espinosa's walked 1. He walked Don Werner in the 2nd inning. Right now, 3-0 with Danny Dreesen. And they're going to head and intentionally pass Dan. So he'll move on to first base. That'll load him up for Dave Concepcion. David struck out in the 2nd inning. Hit his first home run of the year last night. He's driven in 10 and owns a .286 batting average. Oh, the base is loaded now with 2 away. First 2 reached in the inning, but since then Morgan has popped out. Foster has struck out. Pitch to Concepcion, a strike called in the outside corner. The 0-1 swung on, fouled, out of play down the right side, back into the seats. Well, Espinosa in front of Concepcion, 0-2. You know, we've watched this happen on several occasions where runners at 2nd and 3rd, 1 and 0 outs, unable to score. Maybe Davey can come up with a base hit right here. The pitch swung on, that's pop foul, out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Rose third base, Griffey second, Dreesen at first. Espinosa sets. And the pitch. He got him. Ball foot outside, a breaking ball, and some good and very fine pitching by Nino Espinosa. Striking out 2 and getting Morgan to pop up after Rose and Griffey had reached in the inning. For the Reds, no runs. They get 2 hits with no errors. 3 runners left on base, and at the middle of the 3rd, New York 4, Cincinnati 1.
Welcome home. You had a long day. Sit down beside me and ease your cares away. Let's have a quiet night together. We deserve it, heaven knows.
we're here together. Dinner for two, soft music with you, and the good taste of love. You can't stop a good thing when it's made the right way. That's why through the mellows it still vibrates today. Someone they love us to another's love.
That was Nancy Wilson for the Stroh Brewery Company, Detroit, Michigan. Family brewers for 200 years.
For New York in the third inning, Willie Montanez, John Stearns, and Lee Mazzilli will step to the plate. Montanez a sacrifice fly in the first inning, scoring the first or second New York run. He scored Maddox from third base with the fly ball to Geronimo in right center field. Willie off to a tough start for the Mets. He's hitting 174 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs. Certainly a man that Joe Torre is counting on to drive in a number of runs for New York during the course of the season. Dale Murray ready to go to work. In his third inning of work, pitched to Montanez, very high a ball. The Mets with 1 hit off Murray. He has walked 1 and has struck out a couple. Outfield straight away to Montanez. Murray delivers. That's a strike call. The fastball, 1-1. Pirates now leading the Giants 3-0. Fourth inning at Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh. Montanez takes low and inside. 2 balls to strike. Doug Capella worked just 1/3 of an inning this afternoon, and control problems again. Swung on, ground ball, diving stab by Gleason, but it gets by him and on into right field, a base hit. Third hit of the game for New York, and that'll bring catcher John Stearns to the plate. Stearns walked in the first inning and scored the 4th New York run. Capella now has pitched a total of 7 innings on the year and has walked 9. Pretty difficult to win walking people at that rate. First pitch to Stearns, the forkball down low. Checking in with Dal Maxwell, the third base coach, Stearns. Montanez at first leads. The stretch by Murray. And the pitch. High and inside. 2 balls, no strikes. Lee Mazzilli, the on-deck batter. Lee, a switch hitter. Outfield for Stearns straight away. Murray looking to Warner, has the sign. The stretch and the pitch. Montanez goes, and it's swung on and full foul off the third baseline. Two balls to strike. Murray on to the pitching rubber and has his sign. Quick throw to first, and Montanez steps back. Murray sets. Checks Montanez, delivers. Stearns takes it inside. 3-1 to come. Montanez goes, and the pitch is swung on and pulled foul deep down the left side and into the second deck of seats here at Shea Stadium. 4 youngsters going for the souvenir, and they're unable to find it at this time. I'm sure they're very close. Now they're going to be joined by another group, and a young man finally finds it. 3-2 the count. Murray, taking his time, now has the sign from Warner. A throw to first, and Montanez steps back. Montanez led off the inning with a hard ground ball single into right field. The stretch. Again a throw to first base, and this time Montanez goes back hands first. Murray the stretch. And the pitch. Montanez goes. The pitch is swung on and bounced deep in the hole. The Concepcion long throw. He did not get him, but what a play. Davey going deep into the hole and on the run, leaving his feet, throwing back across his body, and got it to Dreesen, and Stearns just beat the throw. So the second hit of the inning, the fourth of the game by the Mets. Infield single for John Stearns. Runners now at first and second, nobody out, and the batter is Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli walked in the first inning. In fact, he was the last batter that Doug Capella faced. After walking Mazzilli, Dale Murray came on to face Bobby Valentine. And Valentine, of course, on deck. Murray sets and delivers. Mazzilli swings, ground ball fair down to first base. That'll bring Montanez home. Stearns on his way to third. Grippy up with the ball. They're going to hold Stearns up, and the Mets lead it 5-1. Well, Lee Mazzilli wastes no time. He pulled one down the right field line between Danny Dreesen and the line, and for Mazzilli, his sixth double of the year and his fifth RBI. He's at second base, Stearns at third. Nobody out, and the batter is Bobby Valentine. Mets leading 5-1. Valentine drove in two of the 4 runs. The Mets scored in the first inning with a line drive single to left field, a ball that George Foster bobbled, allowing Valentine to reach first. George being charged with an error. They're going to intentionally pass Valentine to get to Doug Flynn. This will be the second walk issued by Dale Murray. Doug Flynn ended the first inning by bouncing into a double play, a ball that went to Dave Concepcion near the bag at second, and Bobby Valentine at second base off the bag. Davey tagging him and throwing on to first to complete the inning-ending double play. But Doug Flynn, a .265 batting average. Doug has driven in 3 runs. There's no extra base hit. The Mets with the bases loaded and nobody out. They've scored a run. New York threatening to break this one open. Pedro Bourbon throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Murray the stretch. He delivers to Flynn, and Doug takes a strike. Pitcher Nino Espinosa on deck. Murray has his sign. The 0-1. That's swung on and fouled, a fork ball, and quickly Dale in front of Flynn. 0-2. Reds outfield playing Doug well around to the right, putting a lot of room along the left field line. Murray ready, and the 0-2 to Flynn. That's low and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. John Stearns at third base. Lee Mazzilli at second, and at first base, Bobby Valentine. Murray, a ball, 2 strikes with Flynn. And the 1-2. Swung on, ground ball. Morgan has it. He'll tag Valentine and throw to Dreesen. Not time. And Bobby Valentine did a pretty good job there. He didn't allow Morgan to make a clean tag. He kind of gave Joe the shoulder as he made the tag and delayed Morgan's throw to first, and Flynn hustling down the line beat the throw. So a run scores. Stearns scoring from third base. Moving on to third is Lee Mazzilli, and at first base is Doug Flynn on the force out. And the batter is Nino Espinosa. Valentine out, 4 unassisted as Morgan put the tag on him. The 1 away, and it's the pitcher Nino Espinosa. Run number 6 for New York. They lead it 6-1. Espinosa called out on strikes in the second inning. Murray delivers to him. He swings and pops a foul out of play to the right. Well, Espinosa, a fine bit of pitching in the top half of this inning. After Rose let out with a single and Griffey double off the fence in right center, he came back to get Morgan to pop up to the catcher John Stearns, struck out Foster, an intentional walk to Dreesen, struck out Concepcion to end the inning. Murray's next pitch is low ball. Lenny Randle on deck. Murray ready. And the pitch. The bunt attempt is missed, and it goes the ball 2 strikes to Espinosa. Here's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. Got him with a high forkball. And for Murray, his 3rd strikeout. 2 away now, and the batter will be Lenny Randle, and we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Follow the Reds all season long on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio, where you hear more of what you listen for.
The 2 away now, Lenny Randle's batter. Lenny, up for the 3rd time in the game, has walked both times up. Go over to first by Murray, and Flynn is back. Lynn Maddox on deck. Randle, a switch hitter, hitting left-handed against Murray. The pitch to him is high ball. Mazzilli at third base, Flynn at first. Mets have scored a couple here in the inning, lead it 6-1. Murray the stretch, the pitch. Going inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Randle hitting 164 with 3 RBIs, 3 doubles as he looks to Dal Maxwell, the New York third base coach. Denny Summers coaching at first base for New York. 2-0 delivery. Randle swings on it, fouls out of play to the left side. Now 2-1. Murray off to the side of the mound on the grass, now walks back up. Hooks into Werner. Has the sign to the belt and the pitch. Lindell, a drag bunt. Dreesen off the bag, has it. Underhands to Murray. Close play, got him. Good play by Danny Dreesen and Dale Murray, and a bang-bang play as Lenny Randle was right there. So the inning ends, but the Mets pick up 2 runs on 3 hits, there were no errors, 2 runners left on base, and at the end of 3 here at Shea Stadium in New York, it's the Mets 6, the Reds 1.
You know, different folks have different ways to spend their time, enjoy their days. Me, I like to fish, I really do. Well, there's something good about a lazy creek. Helps me relax from a long, hard week, like my Red Fox chewing tobacco, the relaxin' chew. Well, it's soft and moist and mild for sure. The flavor's fresh. The taste is pure. Red Fox is best. I like it. Yes, I do. So I keep me an extra pouch of Red Fox by my side in my tackle box. When it comes to tobacco, those Red Fox folks come through. Why don't you try Red Fox? Look for it in the white pouch with a picture of Old Red taking it easy. Red Fox chewing tobacco. Now it's better than ever. So if you like to relax, and I'll bet you do, settle down with a Red Fox chew, because Mister, taking it easy, never tasted so good. Red Fox.
Well, the Reds trail the Mets 5 runs as they bat in the bottom half in the top half of the 4th inning. New York leading 6-1. The Reds had a real opportunity in the 3rd inning, but got exactly nothing out of it as Rose singled and Griffey doubled, and then Morgan Foster, and after a walk to Dreesen, Concepcion went out. Did not score a run, and a good job by Nino Espinosa. It'll be Geronimo, Werner, and Dale Murray here in the 4th inning for the Reds. Geronimo called out on strikes in the second inning. He owns a .302 batting average with a home run, 10 RBIs. Espinosa from the Dominican Republic. I'm sure Geronimo knows him. He takes low from Nino Ball. Espinosa has struck out 7, has walked 1. The Reds with 5 make it 4 hits. There's the strike. 1-1. 5-run lead. I would imagine we'll see a lot of fastballs. He's got a pretty good one. There's another one in the top foul out of play to the left side. A ball, 2 strikes to Geronimo. Espinosa has his sign. And the 1-2 to the Chief. That's up high, a fastball. Count evens 2-2. Espinosa back to the plate. Outside. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Wind kicking up now around home plate, and Geronimo backs away. Now steps back in. Payoff on the way, and it's swung on and fouled. The wind this afternoon, it's really hard to tell which way it's blowing. Right now, it appears to be blowing from the right field pole to the left field pole. Geronimo swings and sends one deep to left field. Blowing back, Henderson, and that ball is out of here. Oh, he just bring up the wind, and we're quite sure that had a fired in Geronimo's ball leaving the ballpark, the opposite field shot, and we'll have to talk to the Chief about the last time he hit a home run to the opposite field. His second of the year, and it's a 6-2 game. All right, here's Don Warner. Don walked in the second inning. Well, the Reds with 2 runs in the game, and both on home runs. Warner takes high from Espinosa the ball. The 1-0. Warner looks at a strike. 1-1. The American League in the 6th inning in Minnesota. The Twins leading the Yankees 1-0. Warner swings and pops a foul, backing out of play, and count a ball, 2 strikes to Don Warner. Only other game going in the National League this afternoon, that's San Francisco at Pittsburgh. The Pirates leading 3-0 in the 5th inning. Swing and a miss by Don Warner, and that's strikeout number 8 for Nino Espinosa. Espinosa had struck out only 7 batters in 25 2/3 innings coming into this afternoon's game, and he already has 8 in 3+ innings. Dave Collins will go to the plate to hit for Dale Murray. Collins hitting an even 200. He's had 2 hits and 10 times up. Pinch hitting. Dave 1 for 8. Well, Pedro Bourbon will be the pitcher in the bottom half of the inning for the Reds. Waiting on Collins to settle in. Dave, a switch hitter, hitting left-handed against the right-hander Espinosa. The pitch. Swung on. That's hit to left field deep to Henderson on the run. Does he have room? Does. And on the run, reaches up and makes the one-handed catch. So Collins jumping on the first pitch delivered by Espinosa, and Steve Henderson a nice running catch in left field to retire. Cool way now, and Pete Rose the batter. Pete now 8 away from that 3,000 mark as he singled in the 3rd inning leading off. He's 1 for 2, struck out in the 1st. Espinosa delivers, and Rose checks down a fastball that's high. Breaking ball low and inside. 2 balls, no strikes to Pete. There's Pete with his next double. Will be the 528th of his career. To tie Frank Robinson. Swings and fouls the next pitch. 2-1. Frank Robinson in 15th place in the all-time list with 528. 2 balls to strike to Rose. 2 out, the base is empty. A wind, the pitch. High, 3-1. New York 6, Cincinnati 2. Espinosa delivers. Rose swings and hits it well to right field. Going back, Maddox looking up, and that one is gone. Rose's first home run of the year. He is 7 away. Pete Rose jumps on a 3-1 fastball and sends it into the New York Met bullpen in right field to make it a 6-3 ball game, and that brings Joe Torre out of the New York dugout to have a chat with his battery. Now Montanez and Lenny Randle join in. The Reds have had 3 runs this afternoon, all 3 of them on home runs. Boy, that third inning looking very big right now when Pete led off with a single and Griffey doubled and we couldn't get a run out of it. Now Torrey jogs on back to the New York dugout. That'll bring Ken Griffey to the plate. Kenny 1 for 2. He had his 6th double of the year in the third inning. Six to 3 game. Reds have out-hit the Mets now, 6-5. Espinosa winds and delivers, and that swung on and hit well to right field, going back Maddox, and that is the 4th home run of the game. And now it is 6-4. Griffey's 2nd of the year. Espinosa standing in disbelief, gazing out to right field, but that's 4 home runs out of 7 hits the Reds had. Oh, it's even a bigger thing, the third inning, and that's going to be it for Nino Espinosa. Joe Torre on his way back to the mound, and we're going to have a right-hander come on. While Torre makes the pitching change, the score 6-4, the Mets leading. The Reds have scored 3 times in the inning on 3 home runs. So a pitching change to be made by the New York Mets, and while that's being done, we'll pause for this important message.
There are 2 things I remember about 58. It's your Billy Jack.
New pitcher for the Mets is right-hander Marty Cornejo, and for Cornejo, this will be his 9th appearance of the year. He's won 3 and lost 1, owns a .225 earned run average. In 11 2/3 innings, Cornejo has allowed 11 hits, has struck out 5, and walked 6. He has 1 save to his credit. Cornejo from Wellington, Kansas. Last year at Tidewater, he was 11-6 with a .263 earned run average. The 4 home runs so far in the game. The second time this year, the Reds have hit 4 home runs in a game. They did it on the 18th of this month in Los Angeles. Ken Griffey, George Foster, Joe Morgan, and Johnny Bench. 3 of them coming off Don Sutton, and Bench is coming off Terry Forrester. Cornejo completes his warm-ups, and Nino Espinosa leaves, having up 4 runs on 7 hits, and the 4 runs all home runs. So Cornejo will be working with 2 out to Joe Morgan. Joe 1 for 2. Cornejo winds and delivers. Morgan swings a ground ball. Valentine way to his left, has it quick going to Montanez and got him. So a good play by Bobby Valentine on the first pitch delivered by Cornejo, and that retires the side. The Reds in the inning, 3 runs on 3 hits. No errors, no one left on base, and at the middle of the 4th, it's the Mets 6, the Reds 4. New pitcher on the mound for the Reds, Pedro Borbon, and Pedro making his 8th appearance of the year. He's 1-1, lost 9, owns a 12 earned run average. In 8 2/3 innings, Borbon has given up 16 hits. has struck out 2 and walked 3, and he has 1 save to his credit. Here in the 4th, New York will send up Elliot Maddox, Steve Henderson, and Willie Montañez. Maddox has walked and struck out in 2 times of the plate, has scored 1 of the 6 New York runs. When the Mets picked up a couple of more runs. Here's Steve Henderson. Henderson is 1 for 2 and an RBI, has stole a base and has scored a run. Singled in the 1st inning to drive in the 1st New York run, and grounded to short in the 2nd. Bourbon delivers, and Henderson takes it low and inside the ball. Bourbon, 3rd pitcher used by the Reds this afternoon. 1-0 is swung on and missed. The fastball, 1-1. The Reds right back in the game. Mets leading 6-4, but we got 5 more swings at it. Montañez on deck. A piece of paper blows across home plate, and Henderson backs away. Now Steve back in. 1-1 to count. Pedro delivers. Henderson takes. Breaking ball low and outside. 2-1. Pirates have picked up another run and now lead the Giants 4-0 with San Francisco at bat in the 6th inning at Pittsburgh. 2-1 delivery, swung on and fouled out of play down the right side. Count evens 2-2 to Steve Henderson. The 2-2. Swung on, that's bounced to Concepcion. Backhands deep and short. Long throw, got him. And Davey came up firing and got Henderson by a half step. 2 away, and the batter will be Willie Montañez. Willie Montañez, 1 for 1 this afternoon. Had a sacrifice fly in the 1st and single to right in the 3rd. Scored the 5th New York run. He takes from Bourbon under the knees the ball. Pedro back to the plate. Swung on and pulled foul down the right side. Count evens 1-1. Now the 1-1. Missing outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Two-one delivery. He swung on. That popped in the left center field. Geronimo and Foster over, and Geronimo calls, and he makes the one-handed catch. So the New York Mets out in order for the first time in the game as Pedro retires them. Nothing across, and after 4 innings, it's New York 6, Cincinnati 4. George Foster will lead it off in the 5th inning, and back to the action. Here's Marty.
Okay, Joe. Well, we've got quite a game going. The Reds with 4 home runs this afternoon off Nino Espinosa, and right back in it, only 2 down now as we start the 5th inning against young and impressive Marty Cornejo, who's done quite a job for the Mets out of their bullpen this season. Foster 0 for 2. Both times up against Espinosa, he struck out. He was called looking in the 1st inning and then struck out swinging in the 3rd. Espinosa working but 3 2/3 innings, and despite enjoying a career-high 8 strikeouts, was not able to go long enough to receive a possible victory in this game should New York remain out in front. Ball 1 to George. Foster, Dreesen, Concepcion here in the top of the 5th. Cornejo in the 1-0 pitch, and that's high. 2 balls and no strikes. Well, I'll tell you, at the outset of spring training, this young man's chances of making the Met club was overwhelmingly against him. But he just pitched so well almost every time out that he made a spot for himself on this Met pitching staff. Last year, 11-6 at Tidewater with a 2.63 ERA. He's 3-0 on Foster. 26 years old, Cornejo, from Wellington, Kansas. He spells his name Cornejo. Was a 21st selection by the Mets in the June 73 free agent draft. 3-0 delivery, Foster taking, and that's over for a call strike. Okay, the 3-1 on the way, and Foster swings and hits this one into right field. Running hard is Maddox, and he can't get it. He plays it on the bounce, and Foster leads off the 5th inning with a wrong field single to right. That's the 8th hit for Cincinnati. Danny Dreesen with a home run, the first of 4 so far this afternoon for Cincinnati. He led off the 2nd with a long homer to right center, and then drew an intentional walk in the 3rd when it looked like the Reds had really set up shop. Got a leadoff single by Pete, a double by Griffey, but Morgan popped up to Stearns. Foster struck out, and after the intentional pass to Dreesen, Concepcion struck out. Danny swings and he misses. Montañez holding it first as Foster comes off the bag. Danny checks his swing, and that cost him a strike. 0-2. Quickly, no balls and 2 strikes. Now the stretch and now the pitch. That's a breaking ball that's too much inside and low. 1-2. In that Pirate Giant game, Joe mentioned Pittsburgh had added a run and lead 4-0. That 1 run, a home run by Mario Mendoza, his first of the season. Meanwhile, Jeff Zahn in the 8th inning at Bloomington, Minnesota, shutting out the Yankees 3-0. Dreesen takes a strike, and that'll be the first strikeout for Cornejo. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Complete Cincinnati Reds baseball coverage is yours on Zebra 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
David Concepcion at the plate now, and on the first pitch, he shortens up on the bat as if to bunt, drawing Randall in from third, but in the end takes a strike. That's low and outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Reds about hit him now, 8-5, but those early walks issued by Doug Capilla in a 4-run New York first inning, and then the 2 they struck on Dale Murray for in the 3rd has them up by a pair. 2 balls and 1 strike. David has also struck out twice today, so let's see what he can do about getting a full-fledged threat going here in the 5th. Foster with a base hit to begin the inning after striking out his first 2 times in. Pitches away, 3-1. The Mets bullpen is quiet. Not so for Cincinnati. Right-hander Doug Baer is getting ready as we move on down to the bottom part of the Reds' batting order. Davey up there with Geronimo and Werner to follow, and then the pitcher's position. There's a throw to first. Met infield, double play depth. Davey's on with a walk as Cornejo misses low. So we've got a couple on with 1 man out. And Cesar Geronimo, who led off the last inning with the first of a 3 home run frame for Cincinnati, will be standing in. More than 100 cities served by the Reds Radio Network, including Huntington on WGNT, Jamestown, Kentucky on WJRS, and Circleville, Ohio on WNRE. The Reds at 1 point down 4-0 and then 6-1. Have the tying runs on base here in the 5th with 1 out. Geronimo 1 for 2 with that home run. Cornejo comes to the plate, and Cesar fouls it off to the left and out of play. Mike Lum with bat in hand down in the Cincinnati dugout. So we would speculate that he would be batting for the pitcher Bourbon if we get that far. Geronimo bluffs a bunt. He takes it high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Marty Cornejo, a college man. In fact, he attended 2 schools, Northeastern A&M College in Miami, Oklahoma, as well as the University of Tulsa, majoring in business administration. Here's a smash in the deep left center field. Racing back Mazzilli. That ball's over his head. Banging against the wall. Foster will score. They wave Concepcion around. Here comes the throw to the plate. Not in time. We're tied up. A 2-run double to left center by Geronimo, and we start from scratch. The Reds 6 and the Mets 6. An offensive afternoon here at Shea Stadium. And an especially big day for one Cesar Geronimo. He has just doubled in the tying runs, giving him 3 runs batted in on the afternoon, and now Donnie Werner is at the plate with 1 out, and see if the Mets are going to pitch to him with a go-ahead run out at second base. Apparently so. Werner has walked. He has struck out. He takes a pitch high, a ball. Now Mr. Excitement, Pedro Bourbon, moves to the on-deck circle. There goes Geronimo to third. The pitch misses, and Stearns will not throw. And I think more than anything, because of the fact that Lenny Randle was a little bit slow getting over to the bag to cover. So Cesar has swiped third base as it goes to 2-0 on Don Werner. That will now force the pressure on the New York infield. They will be forced to come in. Pitch. Werner takes it high and tight. Ball 3. Got a left-hander now getting ready for New York, Paul Siebert, as Doug Bear continues to get ready for Cincinnati. The go-ahead run at third. 1 out. The 3-0 to Werner. He swings and hits a smash right by Lenny Randle in the left field. Geronimo scores, and the Reds lead by a run at 7-6. Don Werner rifling one by Lenny Randle, and that has been scored a base hit. So Don comes up with a big run-scoring single. Rube Walker making his way toward the Shea Stadium pitching mound to talk to Marty Cornejo, and you wonder whether he's just going out to try and settle him down, giving the lefty Paul Siebert more time to get ready, or if they plan on making a pitching change right now. Apparently, Bourbon is now going to bat for himself, probably to be up there trying to bunt Werner on to second for Pete Rose as the meeting now begins to break up. Werner makes his first RBI of the season, a big one. Randle now playing in at third, waiting for the expected bunt from Bourbon. Cornejo with a set the pitch. Pedro squares and now jerks the bat away and takes a strike. Inning started with a base hit to right by Foster. Dreesen struck out. Concepcion got a walk. Geronimo then doubled to left center, tying the game up. He stole third, and Werner has singled him in. Bourbon pushes one right side, fielded by Montañez. No play at second, throw to first, and in a photo finish at first base, Pedro is out. He almost pulled it off.
He's got that down pretty good, Marty. The only thing is he doesn't get out of the box too well. Bad out of the gate. Once he gets rolling, it's not too bad. But
he can motor once he gets down that line a little bit.
Starting block must catch his spikes or something.
You used to run like that, didn't you?
Oh, man.
Huh?
Fly.
Blazing speed?
Blazing speed. Why look at me like that?
I don't believe a word of it.
Check my stolen base record.
Don't you know? Yeah. Here's Pete Rose now. The pitch in for a strike. Credit Bourbon with a 3-4 sacrifice. Pete with a good afternoon. He has singled and homered in 3 times up. Cornejo ready with a strike 1 pitch, and Pete takes it away. 1-1. Rose now 7 hits away from 3,000. That home run he cranked out of here into the Mets bullpen in the 4th inning was hit number 2,993. Cornejo 1-1. Pete taking high, 2 balls and a strike. The Reds with a pair of back-to-back 3-run innings. 3 in the 4th, making it 6-4. 3 in the 5th, and still batting, and lead 7-6. Werner out at second base with 2 men out. Rose swings, and there he goes again. Long drive, and I mean, he got every bit of it. It hits into the Met bullpen. Another home run for Rose. The 5th of the afternoon for Cincinnati, and the Reds lead by 3 at 9-6. What an absolute home run exhibition the Reds are putting on here at Shea this afternoon. Paul Siebert, who is throwing in the bullpen, was the man who caught that ball, and I'll tell you, I don't think Pete Rose can hit a ball any better than he just hit that one.
Marty, he really got into that one, and I was just sitting here trying to recall when and if Pete's ever hit 2 home runs in a ball game. I'm just really pressing to recall it, and I really can't offhand. I'm sure he has. And his 3,994 hits, I would assume he's hit 2 home runs somewhere along the line in a ball game, but I cannot recall it. What's the term? A no-doubter.
Yeah.
In fact, I think all of them have been pretty much no-doubters.
Yes, indeed they have. That is the goodbye pitch for Marty Cornejo. He is out of here. And we will now be batting off the left-hander Paul Siebert. A 5-run 5th inning, 5 home runs on the day for Cincinnati. And, boy, when you talk about Pete, is he generating some kind of excitement for fans back in what we consider to be Reds country for going after that 3,000th hit on the homestand that will begin at Riverfront on Monday night. Marty Cornejo came on in the 4th inning after the Reds had slammed 3 home runs off of Nino Espinosa. He got Morgan on a ground out, and now is able to go 1 inning total in allowing Cincinnati 4 base hits, 5 runs, all of them earned. He struck out a batter and walked a batter. Here's left-hander Paul Siebert. Only his 3rd appearance of the season. He's worked total in an inning and 2/3. Siebert has allowed 3 hits, no runs, no homer, no strikeouts. He's walked a couple of batters, so he has no record and no earned run average, and has not saved a game. He's been little used, considered to be the last pitcher on this New York staff, and now Joe Torre forced to bring him on, well, relatively early. We're only in the 5th inning. He'll be facing Ken Griffey, who his last time up homered into the New York bullpen. The Reds have gotten long balls today from Danny Dreesen in the 2nd, Geronimo, Rose, and Griffey in the 4th, and here in the 5th, Pete has just tagged a pitch from Cornejo way out of here into the Mets bullpen for his 2nd homer of the year, and with Werner scoring in front of him, it's now 9-6 Reds. Siebert throws to Griffey. Kenny takes it high, ball 1. That's a little bit up. 2 balls and no strikes. Griffey is 2 for 3. He doubles off the wall in right center in the 3rd, and it's easy to overlook the fact in the wake of a 5 home run day, he missed by only a couple of feet of getting a home run that time. He shoots one down the right field line. That's foul. I am sure that Sparky Anderson has to be pleased as punch with the offense that he has seen here the first 2 days in New York after the Reds struggled in San Francisco last weekend, despite winning 2 games and, of course, not having much in the way of offense against the Dodgers in back-to-back losses Tuesday and Wednesday night. 3-1. At 12 hits last night, we've had 11 so far today. Now time call by first base umpire Jerry Crawford as Siebert started into his windup. I can't imagine what Crawford shouted to the mound, but he stopped Siebert, who will start all over again. 3-1 pitch. That's a strike on the inside corner that Griffey did not agree with. That pitch looked way inside, and Kenny lets Jim Quick know about it. So we have a payoff coming. Griffey grounds one into right field. That's his third hit of the day. So with Joe Morgan coming up, the Reds will have batted around in the fifth. Morgan 1 for 3, a first inning single to right. Fastball over at the letters for a call strike. Siebert throwing to first, and a low throw. Montañez makes a pickup. Siebert pitching high and tight. Morgan ducks underneath the off-speed pitch. Well, a couple of other relievers, three actually, that Joe Torre could call on today. Skip Lockwood, who we didn't see last night. Butch Metzger and Bob Myrick, who did work in the game. Boy, the way this one's going, we could see a bunch of folks. Throw to first, back Griffey. 1-1 delivery to Morgan. He pops it foul, but out of play, back of the plate.
Marty Nosson over the PA had mentioned the fact on the 18th when the Reds hit 4 home runs in Dodger Stadium was the most in the National League by one club in one game, and of course we've hit 5 now, so that erases that.
Well, 5 home runs in a game, the high water mark in the National League so far this season, and well, it might not be over yet.
Pretty good deduction there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Thank you.
Congratulations, don't you know? Morgan behind as Siebert comes plateward with a high fastball. 2-2. The Indians and the A's will be getting underway in about 15 minutes out in the Oakland Alameda Coliseum, the only other day game besides the 3, including this one going on now. And there is ball 4. So Paul Siebert has come on to give up a single to Griffey, a walk to Morgan, and here's a man who started the inning off with a single to right field, George Foster. Foster 1 for 3 with that base hit earlier here in the 5th. Joe Torre is going to get Butch Metzger up and working. Foster checks his swing. It's a strike. George had a big night last night. He homered, singled, and tripled. That's below the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. Griffey at second. At first base, Joe Morgan. 2 away in an inning that has seen the Reds score 5 times. And lead now by a score of 9-6 after trailing at 1 point, 6-1. Siebert on the mound now walks to the backside as Foster is slow getting into the batter's box. Pitch. Off-speed delivery in. Strike 2 call. 1-2. Siebert seeming a bit reluctant to throw George a fastball. Now Lenny Randall will back up to play a deep third with a 2-strike count on the batter. Swung on, hit hard. Diving stop by Flynn from a kneeling position to throw to second out. Fine play by Doug Flynn. He backhanded that shot in the hole, went to both knees, and from that position threw to Bobby Valentine to force out Joe Morgan. In the 5th for Cincinnati, 5 runs. 5 base hits, no errors, and a couple left. So at the end of 4.5 innings of play, the Reds lead the Mets 9-6. We got to be on hand for all the action. Action, we've had it aplenty here at Shea today. The Mets now down by 3. They scored 4 in the first and 2 in the third, while the Reds got 1 in the second, 3 in the fourth, and 5 in the fifth. Stearns 1 for 1 with a walk, a base hit, and 2 runs scored. Takes the ball, a pitch that glances off Donnie Warner's glove. Pulled into left field. That's going to be caught by Foster as he races toward the line. Nice play. Foster taking one away from Stearns on a line out to left. Lee Mazzilli, 1 for 1. He walked in the first. He doubled to right in the third. Also picked up a run batted in his 5th of the season. Switch hitting New York center fielder, batting left-handed. Bourbon misses wide of the plate for ball 1. That is bounced foul and down beyond the New York dugout. Pittsburgh has upped its lead, 6-0 the count over the San Francisco Giants. 20-year-old Don Robinson, the starter for Chuck Tanner's club today, so he appears to be well on his way to a second win of the year. Here's a high pop-up out into shallow right center. Morgan backpedaling and waving Griffey off, and Joe makes the play. Quickly, 2 out. Eight consecutive Met batters have been retired. That started off with Doug Flynn, who hit into a reach on a fielder's choice in the third when a run scored. Espinosa then struck out. Randall bounced out. Bourbon got him down 1-2-3 in the fourth inning and has retired Stearns and Mazzilli here in the fifth. He delivers a breaking ball for a strike to Bobby Valentine. 2-run single in the first and an intentional walk in the third. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking pitch stays outside and high. 2-1. Yankees batting in the top of the ninth and trailing Minnesota and Jeff Zahn 3-1. Line drive by Rose, left field, base hit. Bobby Valentine stops the string at 8 men retired in a row with a 2-out single, and here's Doug Flynn, the Mets shortstop. I would imagine that the Flynn family down in Lexington tuned into our broadcast today. Fine people. Doug swings on it and pops it out of play to the right. He hit into a double play in the first inning, and then in reaching on that fielder's choice in the third, picked up his 4th run batted in of the year. Valentine, a 2-out base runner. Bourbon in with a strike 1 pitch, and it's inside for a ball. Ed Greenpool now on deck as Flynn drives one into shallow right, but Griffey makes the catch about knee-high. He started in, stopped, and then had to turn it on again to play it. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. We'll move to the 6th inning. It's the Reds 9, the Mets 6.
Hurry in today to Big Z TV Centers. Right now, during their big Zenith Carousel of Values event, you'll find sensational prices on all Zenith home entertainment products. Big Z TV Centers have big selections of Zenith Chromacolor TV and smart compact portables and big, beautiful, stylish consoles. You also find great carousel values on Zenith Black and White TV and quality Zenith radios of every description. Don't miss Big Z TV Centers' big audio departments filled full of carousel values, like the famous Zenith Allegro stereo system featuring exclusive Allegro-tuned port speakers for clear, rich, natural sound. Choose from sleek space-age style modulars with 8-track player recorders, as well as beautiful, authentic console stereos. So stop in today, see and hear Big Z TV Center's complete line of Zenith quality home entertainment products during their big Carousel of Values event right now at Big Z TV Centers in Columbus, Johnstown, London, Marion, and Westerville.
With Joe Nuxall, Marty Brenneman back at Shea Stadium in New York. Paul Siebert, who ran into some 5th inning problems after coming on in relief of Marty Cornejo, but got out of the inning unscathed as far as he personally was concerned by getting Foster to hit into a force play, will now begin the 6th inning in working to Danny Dreesen, Davey Concepcion, and Cesar Geronimo. Dreesen is 1 for 2, a home run, an intentional walk. In the 5th inning, he was called out on strike. Siebert comes to the plate. Dreesen hits a strike. High and inside with a fastball, 1-1. Each team has used 3 pitchers. The Mets, preceding Siebert, have used Espinoza and Cornejo. Strike 2 call on the inside corner, while the Reds have used Capilla, Murray, and Bourbon. Pedro, at this point of the game, stands to be the winning pitcher. Breaking ball missed, and both Siebert and Stearns felt like that pitch got into the strike zone. 2-2 on Dreesen. The baseball quiz here today. Sparky Anderson has managed the Reds to more victories than any other pilot in Cincinnati history. Can you guess how many wins the Reds have averaged per season in Sparky's first 8 years as manager? Swing and a miss. Dreesen strikes out for the 2nd straight time. The first for Mr. Siebert, and it brings Davey Concepcion to the plate. Well, if you like the big brassy sounds of marching band music, planned to be at Riverfront Stadium May 20th when the Reds' 4th annual Marching Band Festival precedes the game with the Expos. David with a home run last night, his first of the year. Looks at a strike. Well, the Reds have hit 7 and a little bit more than a game and a half in New York. 1 ball, 1 strike. And with a 5 today, have now cracked 23 home runs on the season. Bouncer foul at third. Ball, 2 strikes. Davey with a pop-up, pass first and foul ground. Montañez going over to the stands, and he doesn't have a play. That's a final score in Minnesota. The Twins beat the Yankees 3-1. Well, New York back to playing .500 baseball. They began the day 3.5 games behind the Tigers, who have a 2-game edge over the Boston Red Sox. Up high with a fastball, 2-2. Interesting, the comments Billy Martin made in the Sporting News this week concerning the Red Sox. He said they would not run away and hide from everybody else in the Eastern Division because they are not a good road club. 3-2 on David, pointing up the tremendous success they had at Fenway Park last year as opposed to problems that they suffered on the road. But right now, the Tigers at the top of the heap. Here's a fly ball hit down the right side and out of play. Well, Detroit, and we certainly saw that club enough in spring training to make some impressions in terms of what Tiger fans might expect over the course of the year, and they have an outstanding young baseball team. Steve Kemp, Jason Thompson, Lou Whitaker, Alan Trammell. Davey fouls another one away. Of course, a big concern for Ralph Houk right now is a problem in the arm of Mark Fidrich, who tried to throw a couple of days ago, and after only 3 or 4 or 5 minutes just left the mound in disgust because he was having some pain. 1 out and a 3-2 pitch coming again to Concepcion. He drives one by Flynn into left center field. Over to cut it off Mazzilli. He kicks it around, but still will recover to hold Davey to a base hit. Well, Cincinnati hit. Make it the 13th hit, one more than we accumulated against the Mets pitching staff last night. Geronimo with a big afternoon after a strikeout in the 2nd. He hit a solo homer in the 4th. He doubled to left center in the 5th inning, driving 2 in to at that time tie it up. 3 RBIs, giving 13 on the year. There's the Siebert throw to first. Nine to 6, the Reds lead the Mets. We're in the top of the 6th. Davey running, Geronimo taking, Stearns' throw to second, not in time. Flynn had to sweep across the bag to the first base side to keep it from going through. We'll pause for station identification on the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
Follow the exciting Cincinnati Reds action in 1978 on FM 100 WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
Geronimo takes it high. It's a ball to the strike as Concepcion just a moment ago has stolen his third base of the year in 6 attempts. 1-1 to Geronimo. That's fouled out of play. Over in the Western Division of the American League, the Oakland A's starting to come back down to earth a bit. They now show but a 1-game lead over both Kansas City and California. The A's 14-5 to the Royals 12-5, and the Angels 13-6. High and inside, 2-2. After that, with only 1 game separating the top 3 teams, you drop down to Texas being 6 out, but they're on the upswing. The White Sox 6.5 back, Minnesota 8.5 games away, and Seattle 9.5 games out. Swing at a miss. A good breaking ball makes Geronimo a strikeout victim, and with 2 out, here's Don Werner.
The catcher, Don Werner.
Mets pitchers have chalked up 11 strikeouts. Espinosa had 8, Corneo 1, and Siebert, in the brief time he's been up there, has fanned 2, and they're going to intentionally walk Werner with first base open and pitch to Bourbon. This will be the second walk allowed by Siebert, who no doubt is in his final inning of work because he's scheduled to lead off the bottom of the inning for the Mets. Werner with a walk for the second time today. Bourbon with a sacrifice bunt in the 5th. Well, we've got Werner at first, Concepcion at second. Randall, a couple of steps on the grass at third as Pedro drives a hard ground ball by the diving Doug Flynn. Here's David to the plate. Here comes a throw from Henderson offline. Now they've got Werner hung up between third and second as the throw goes to Flynn. On to Valentine, and he tags him out. 7-2 to 6-4. 7-2 to 6-4 is the way the outplay went on Werner. But Bourbon getting credit for a base hit and a run batted in. In the inning, the Reds get a run on 2 hits, no errors, and a man left on. And after 5.5, the Reds 10 and the Mets 6. Stadium. Bruce Beauclair will bat for pitcher Paul Siebert as we venture on into the bottom half of the 6th. Beauclair hitting .225. He's 9 for 40, a homer, 5 RBIs. Left-handed swinger. Bourbon delivers the first pitch low for a ball. Pedro's pitched well, 2 innings and a third in which he has shut out the Mets on a base hit. Swung on, hit deep to right center field. On his horse is Geronimo. It's off the base of the wall. Beauclair coming to second base, and he's in standing with a double. Seventh New York hit as Bruce Beauclair pinch hits a double off the wall in right center. That'll bring up Lenny Randall. We're going to get some further activity in our bullpen. It'll be right-hander Doug Baer up again. Randall 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Breaking pitch low and in the dirt. Well, the answer to this baseball quiz, the Reds have averaged 96 wins per year in the 8 years that Sparky has managed the club. Foul out of here by Randall. Overall, Cincinnati has won a total of 783 games since Sparky took over as manager of the club at the beginning of the 1970 season. Not too bad. The Mets trailing by 4, but they have received a pinch hit double. Off the bat of Bruce Beauclair to begin the 6th. Randall with another foul out of play to the left. A ball and 2 strikes to count. Pedro ready, delivers, bouncer to the right side. Morgan plays a chest-high hop and throws him out as Beauclair moves on to third. One away for Elliot Maddox. A busy New York bullpen. And it looks like it's Butch Metzger throwing. As infield with a 4-run lead will play back despite Beauclair's presence at third. Way inside, that breaking ball almost got Maddox. Swing and a miss. That was a good curveball. Maddox swinging over the top of it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pedro sights aside, comes to the plate. He misses with it, 2-1. Attendance today, 22,865, 22,865. After a crowd of 16,434 last night. Here's a grounder to the left side that'll score the run. Davey boots it, recovers, throws out at first base. Maddox out, 6-3. RBI, his first in a Mets uniform to make it 10-7. And with 2 out and nobody on, the batter will be Steve Henderson. He's 1 for 3 with a first-inning single that drove a run home. Pedro pitches. Henderson fouls. Strike 1. New York with 7 hits. They've had only 2 over the last 3 innings, counting the double that Beauclair opened the 6th inning with. He has since scored on the ground out by Maddox. Going to get around that pitch? Apparently not. 1-1. That's foul away. The Mets loses a 5 straight, and I guess when you're involved in a losing streak like that, whatever you do, more often than not, is not going to be enough. I think with the kind of pitching that they have gotten this season, if you told Joe Torre today before the game your club's going to score 7, he'd have to feel pretty safe in the opinion that his club might win a game. But right now they're trailing by 3 despite having scored 7 runs. 2-2. Low with a fastball, and Bourbon is full on Henderson, with Willie Montañez on deck. Here's a payoff, and just bounced foul off the third base side. Count holding at 3 balls, 2 strikes. Henderson gets a walk as Pedro missed inside with it, and Bourbon a little bit upset with himself. That'll bring up Montañez, who got an RBI in the first inning with a fly ball to center. He has singled and scored and fly to center field. They were consistently calling Montañez Guillermo Montañez during spring training. The feeling that that's what he wanted to be referred to, but now that the regular season is underway, they are here at Shea calling him what everybody's been calling him over the last few years, Willie. Now with Montañez at the plate. Sparky Anderson is coming to the mound. Let's see if he's going to go down and bring on Doug Bear. The call has gone to the bullpen, so Doug Bear will come on in relief and become the fourth pitcher of the day to work for the Reds. Pedro going 2 2/3 innings, allowing a couple of base hits. Didn't strike out anybody, walked the batter, has allowed 1 run, and Henderson over at first base, of course, his responsibility also. This for Doug Bear is going to be his 8th appearance out of the bullpen. No record, no earned run average. In 8 1/3 innings, he's pitched 5 hits, shutout baseball. He's walked 3, walked 5 and struck out 3. And he and Dale Murray have a couple of saves apiece to lead the Reds bullpen in that department. In fact, he picked up a save Sunday afternoon at Candlestick in that Reds 2-1 10-inning victory, when he came on in the 10th and got the side out. He saved the victory for Murray. That's the last time that Bear has been to the mound, so he will be working now for the first time since last Sunday in San Francisco. 4 bone gone, Bear on the mound, and he'll be facing Montañez with Henderson at first, 2 outs. The Mets have scored here in the 6th inning, but trailed the Reds by a score of 10-7. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll wrap up the series here at Shea. 2:05 start. Tom Hume will go to the mound after his 3rd win against the Met right-hander Pat Zachary, who has chalked up a couple of victories without a loss this season and sports an earned run average of under 2. Then Monday night, an 8:35 special starting time, 1/2 hour later than usual, as Tom Seaver goes against Steve Carlson in the first game of the 2-game set against Philadelphia at Riverfront. We'll be on the air Monday night, if you can't make it down to the stadium, at 8:05 with the pregame shows. That's Cincinnati time on most of these same stations. All right, Bear is set to work. Montañez is set to swing the bat. Here's a pitch, and Willie takes it up, a fastball. High and outside, ball 2. Well, Sparky still has Dave Tomlin down there. Of course, Manny Sarmiento working 3 innings last night to record a save for Freddie Norman. Here's a drive back into left center field. On his horse, Geronimo, and on the warning track, and a 1.5 steps away from the wall, he gathers it in. No runs, or 1 run for New York on 1 base hit. No errors and a man left, and as we move to the 7th, the Reds out in front of the Mets, 10-7. Well, the New York Mets parade their 4th pitcher of the afternoon to the mound, and there's one other change for New York. To tell you about them and call the 7th, here against Joe.
All right, Marty, we have a new right fielder for the Mets. That's Bruce Beauclair. The new pitcher is Butch Metzger. Metzger making his 7th appearance of the year. He's 0-1 with a .563 earned run average. He's worked 8 innings, allowing 10 hits, striking out 6, and has walked 5. Metzger in last night's game. Butch pitched 2 innings last night, allowed 1 hit, struck out 3, and walked 1. He will be hitting in the 2nd position in the New York lineup. Beauclair will stay in the game. He went to the plate as a pinch hitter and doubled in the 6th. He'll be hitting in the 9th spot. Well, it'll be Pete Rose, Ken Griffey, Joe Morgan here in the 6th inning for the Reds, or in the 7th rather. Pete 3 for 4 after striking out in the 1st inning, singled in the 3rd, and then his next 2 times to the plate hit home runs. He has 3 RBIs for the game. Gives him now a total of 11. Metzger delivers, and Rose bluffs the bunt. The pitch is high ball. Reds leading 10-7. A big 5-run 5th. Rose takes inside. 2-0 the count. Two-0 delivery, swung on. That's bounced by Montañez in the right field, a base hit, and Pete Rose has his 4th hit of the afternoon. Pete on two previous occasions had 3 hits in a game. This is his first time this year with 4 in a game. Hit number 13 for the Reds. Make that number 15. Hit number 15 for Cincinnati. Here's Ken Griffey. Kenny has 3 hits. He swings and pops the first pitch foul down the left field line. Chasing it is Henderson, and that one is caught by Henderson. A fine play. And he goes, Steve, rather going to the railing and then moving along the railing to pick off the fly ball. So a fine defensive play by the New York left fielder Steve Henderson for the first out of the inning, and Joe Morgan the batter. Morgan 1 for 3 and a walk. Metzger delivers. Morgan tries to push it third base side and misses it. 0-1. The pitch. Swung on, line drive, base hit, right field. Rose to second. He'll go around to third easily, and we have him on the corners with 1 out, and the batter, George Foster. 16 hits for the Reds. George Foster, 1 for 4. He singled back in the 5th inning. He got the 5th inning underway, the 5-run 5th, with that single to right field. Have a high for the Reds as far as hits in one ball game this year, 20. We got a shot at that. Foster, a half swing foul, out of play to the right. Reds leading it 10-7 and threatening here in the 7th inning. Morgan at first base, Rose at third. The Met infield playing back. Foster swings and misses a fastball, and quickly Metzger in front 0-2. Danny Dreesen, the on-deck batter. Metzger delivers. Foster, a shot into center field, a base hit. That scores Rose easily. Morgan on to second base. He'll hold there, and for Foster, his first RBI of the game and number 12 for the year. Here's Danny Dreesen. Dan 1 for 3. Hit a home run in the 2nd inning. His 3rd of the year. First pitch to Dreesen, high a ball. 17 hits for the Reds. Metzger sets, delivers. Dreesen swings on a high fastball and doesn't get it. 1-1. And Metz at one time led the Reds 5-1 after 3 innings. 1-1 delivery. High and outside, 2 balls to strike. The Reds scored 4 times. The Mets scored 4 times in the first. The Reds came back with 1 in the second. Mets picked up a couple of more in the third to lead 6-1. Dreesen swings, hits it well to right center field. Going back, Mazzilli, that's off the wall. Here comes Morgan. They're going to wave Foster in. Here's Valentine still to the plate. It is not in time, and could have been out there easily, and you couldn't have questioned the call by Jim Clerk, the plate umpire. Foster did not slide, and the catcher, John Stearns, didn't miss him by an inch. But nevertheless, he scores, and the Reds now lead it 13-7. So Danny Dreesen picks up a couple of RBIs, gives him 3 for the day, his 2nd hit, and the batter is Dave Concepcion. Dreesen at second base for Danny, his 4th double of the year. The Reds having a field day here this afternoon. Breaking ball, a called strike to Concepcion. Reds now with 18 hits in the game. Will go along with the 13 runs. Metzger to stretch the pitch inside. 1-1 to count. One delivery, swung on and missed. Breaking pitch. 1-2 to Davey. Concepcion has had 1 hit in 3 times up. Has scored 2 runs. Outfield straight away. 1-2 delivery. Swung on, bounced up the middle. Flynn behind the bag. Good play. Running throw. Got him. Moving on to third, Danny Dreesen. But a good play by Doug Flynn, going behind the bag on the ground ball off Dave's bat and throwing him out easily. So 2 out, and the batter is Geronimo. Cesar, 2 for 4, a home run, and a double that produced 2 runs in the 5-run 5th inning. They're going to intentionally pass Geronimo to get to Don Werner. Attendance here this afternoon at Shea Stadium, 22,865. Last night's crowd, 16,434. There's ball 4 to Geronimo. He moves on to first base, so runners again at the corners. And the batter, Don Werner. Don intentionally passed his last time up in the 5th inning. Don had a count of 3-0, got the green light, and drove in a run. Takes a breaking ball to call strike. Werner 1 for 2, has walked twice, has driven in a run. The pitch hangs high and inside. 1-1 to Don Werner. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Metzger sets and delivers. Swung on, that's it into center field. Mazzilli backpedaling a few steps, and he has it, and that's the inning. For the Reds in the 7th, they pick up 3 more runs on 4 hits. There were no errors and 2 runners left on base. And at the middle of inning number 7, the Reds 13, the New York Mets 7.
Well, folks, it's that time of year again. Time to cool it with Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling. All of Columbus is cooling it this spring and summer with Westinghouse add-on air conditioners installed by those Cool It experts at Crawford Nichols. Westinghouse add-on air conditioning is a wise investment for the homeowner. Air conditioning adds to the resale value of your home. More important, it allows your loved ones to relax at home during these hot spring and summer months. Installation is a breeze for the experts at Crawford Nichols. An add-on air conditioner can be connected directly to your present home heating system. You'll be glad to know that Crawford Nichols offers 24-hour emergency service. This assures cooling comfort all season long. Call Crawford Nichols Heating and Cooling today for a free home cooling estimate. To cool it, call 876-1234. You'll find Crawford Nichols in the Yellow Pages under Heating and Cooling.
Before the New York Mets bat in the bottom half of the 7th inning, we'll pause for station identification. This is the Cincinnati Reds Baseball Network.
This is the voice of the Cincinnati Reds for Central Ohio. Zebra 100, WRMZ, Columbus, Ohio.
For New York in the 7th inning, it'll be John Stearns, Lee Mazzilli, and Bobby Valentine. Stearns has been on twice and 3 times at the plate. He walked in the 1st innings, infield single in the 3rd, and a fly ball to left in the 5th. He was on a pretty good play by George Foster. Takes a strike from Doug Bear. Bear, the 4th pitcher used by the Reds this afternoon. Pitch to Stearns, that's just under the knees, a ball, 1-1. Fellas started, Murray, Bourbon, and Bear. Curveball bounces, and it goes 2-1 to Stearns. New York with 7 hits to go along with the 7 runs. Bear winds and delivers. Fastball just inside. 3-1 the count. Bear the 3-1. Stearns takes inside, ball 4. Doug Bear issues his first walk. That's 8 walks now. The Reds pitching has allowed. The pull of 4 in the 1st inning. Dale Murray walked 2 in the 2 2/3 he worked, and Bourbon walked 1 in 2 2/3 innings. Here's Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli had doubled in the third inning for his one hit. He's 1 for 2. Drove in a run. He takes a curve high and outside. Ball 1. Mazzilli doubled along the right field line in the third inning. Time call now as Don Warner starts to the mound and asks for another baseball from plate umpire Jim Quick. Bear 2-0 with Lee Mazzilli. Two-0 pitch. That's in for a call strike, a fastball. Manny Sarmiento's up to start throwing in the Cincinnati bullpen. Bear sets and delivers. Mazzilli swings and loops it into left field. Going out is Concepcion, and he makes the play. A 1 out, and the batter, Bobby Valentine. Valentine 2 for 2 and a couple of RBIs. Singled in the first inning to drive in 2 runs, was intentionally passed in the third, and singled in the fifth. Now Valentine asks Jim Quick to check the baseball out, does, and gives it back to Bear. Pitch to Valentine, a curveball, a called strike. John Stearns at first base, reaching on the walk by Bear. The 1-0. Swung on, line drive, right field, a base hit. Griffey playing it, and Bobby Valentine has his third hit of the ball game. He lines one to right. Hit number 8 for New York, and with 1 out, 2 on, that'll bring Doug Flynn to the plate. Doug 0 for 3 in an RBI. Now Dave Tomlin joins Sarmiento in the Cincinnati bullpen. There, the stretch and the pitch. Breaking ball hangs high. Stretch with a couple of big innings. 1-0 delivery. Flynn swings, lines it to Dreesen. They got Stearns double up easily at second base, so the inning ends with a double play. Flynn lining to Danny Dreesen, and Dan throwing to Concepcion to get Stearns to complete the double play. For the Mets in the inning, no runs. They get a hit of an error. A runner left on base, and at the end of 7, Cincinnati 13, New York 7. 7-inning totals show the Reds 13 runs, 18 hits, and 1 error. The Mets 7 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Doug Bear to lead it off in the 8th. Back for the action, Marty Brenneman.
Okay, Joe, this will be the first time up for Bear in the game. Butch Metzger suffering through a rough 7th inning, his first frame of work, when the Reds sent 8 batters to the plate, scoring 3 times on 4 base hits against him. Well, it'll be Bear, Rose, and Griffey here in the top half of the 8th inning. Reds have been rough on just about everybody that Joe Torre has run out there. They got 4 runs and 7 hits off Espinosa. He went 3 2/3. 5 runs in only 1 inning off Marty Corneo. And in the inning and a third stint that Siebert worked, the Reds struck for a run against him. Then 3 in the 7th against Metzger. Here's a pitch to Bear, and it's in for a call strike. One ball, 1 strike. That's on the inside corner. Strike 2 is called. A Bear behind to his opposite number, Metzger. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Butch working quickly and gets him looking on a breaking ball. That'll be strikeout number 1 for Metzger, and now Rose will step in looking for his 5th consecutive base hit. He started it off with a strikeout swinging, but then a single in the 3rd, home runs in the 4th and 5th, and a single in the 7th inning. So he is now 5 base hits away from 3,000. The pitch is high for ball one. And really, you cannot discount the possibility. As unfortunate as it might be as far as the Reds fans are concerned, Pete reaching 3,000 hits here tomorrow. The count even are 1-1. Now he swings and fouls this one away. Came into the game today needing 9 base hits. And with 4 now, he is at 2,995 in his career. Takes it high, a fastball, as Metzger loses his cap. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Down is 2-2.
That's low and inside, ball 3. Well, the A's are at it early. They struck for 2 in the first inning against Cleveland, and in the second, it's Oakland 2 and Cleveland nothing. Pete swings on the payoff and sends one back into deep left center. Henderson at the wall. It's out of here! Rose has hit his 3rd home run of the game. Pete Rose, banging his hands together as he rounds second, has hit his 3rd home run of the afternoon, and they are giving him a standing ovation here at Shea Stadium.
No, he's going to retreat.
I was getting ready to ask you the obvious question. 5 hits on the day, 3 home runs, and this has got to be one of the more memorable days in Pete Rose's baseball career from a standpoint of offense. That brings up Ken Griffey now, and the pitch to Kenny is in there for a call strike. 5 for 6 on the afternoon for Rose, 3 home runs, and 3 home runs and 4 hits on the day, 3 home runs and 2 singles, and I think they just announced in the background that that's the first time in his career that he's hit 3 home runs in a game. 3 balls and no strikes on Griffey as the Reds now lead at 14-7. He hit a line drive that just cleared the wall in left center field for his 3rd home run of the game. Here's a 3-0. That's bounced hard and foul at first base. Metzger with a 3-1 count on Griffey, make it 2-2. Kenny now stepping out and questioning Jim Quick as to exactly what the count might be. He's had a good day with a double, a home run, and a single. He's up for the 6th time. There's a call strike, and that's the 2nd strikeout of the inning for Butch Metzger. Again, Rose with a strikeout in the 1st, a single in the 3rd, a solo home run in the 4th, a 2-run home run in the 5th, a single in the 7th, and he has homered with nobody aboard here in the 8th. Joe Morgan has had 2 singles. A curve is in at the letter, strike 1. So the Reds have cracked 6 home runs this afternoon at Shea Stadium. Here's a high fly ball into right field. Joe just getting underneath that ball a little too much, and Bruce Beauclair reaches above his head and makes the catch. In the 8th for Cincinnati, 1 run on 1 hit. And at the end of 7 1/2 innings of play, Cincinnati 14 and the Mets 7. Another opportunity for Pete Rose to draw 1 base hit closer to 3,000 on this day because Mike Grace has now gone in to play 3rd base. Pete retires after a day that sees him go 5 for 6, 3 home runs, 2 singles, and 4 runs batted in. Doug Bear, as we go to the home 8th inning, will be working against Bruce Beauclair, Lenny Randall, and then the pitcher spot will come up. Beauclair pinch hit in the 6th inning, a double to right center. He scored and then remained in the game to play right field. He fouls off Bear's first pitch. Strike 2 is called. No balls and 2 strikes. This will be an afternoon the Mets fans will not forget for quite a while, I think. High and outside with a ball. Bob Myrick now loosening up for New York. as Beauclair got around on it. He tried to check his swing on a high fastball, and Quick calls him out. That'll go down as a strikeout swinging and be the first since Bear came onto the scene. Here's Lenny Randle. 2 walks and 2 groundouts on the day. Now you think about tomorrow and what could transpire. We were talking about it during the commercial break. Should Pete get a couple of base hits or go to the absolute maximum without reaching number 3000, and you'd have to feel like he would voluntarily take himself out of the lineup in order to be able to do it on Monday night at home. 1 ball and 1 strike on Randall.
Marty, wouldn't it be interesting if we bat around tomorrow and Pete gets 2 hits in the first inning?
Yeah, that would be. I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams expected him to get 5 hits today. As good a hitter as he is, I don't think he can predict that.
I would say that, but knowing Pete Rose.
I agree. There is strike 2 call, 2-2.
Then he get his 3rd hit in the 3rd inning. What do you do then?
Oh, he's got to take himself out. 2-2 on the way. Randall swings and just gets a piece of the ball to stay alive. Two balls, 2 strikes as Bear gets a new baseball. The Mets down by 7 runs as they hit in the bottom of the 8th with 1 out. Randall fouls this one back. Well, 5 hits, 14 total bases. Pretty good afternoon's work. Swing and a miss. That's a strikeout of Lenny Randall as Doug Bear warms up to the task. He's chalked up back-to-back punch-outs. And now Ed Kranepool will bat for pitcher Butch Metzger. Kranepool, a longtime favorite here in New York. Batting .211, 4 for 19, a homer, 3 RBIs. Left-handed batter with good power. He grounds one to short to the glove side of Concepcion. Davey up and throwing. Long stretch by Danny. And that's the inning. The Mets are out in order for the first time since the 4th. And we'll go to the 9th inning with a score. Cincinnati 14 and New York 7. On last night and making his 2nd appearance of the series is left-hander Bob Myrick. Myrick pitched 2 innings last night in a mop-up role for the Mets, allowing 2 hits and a run. He walked a batter. He shows a record on the year of no wins and 2 defeats with a 180 earned run average in 11 appearances. He's been the most used pitcher on the Mets staff. Here in the 9th, he'll be facing George Foster, Danny Dreesen, and Davey Concepcion. The Reds 1 base hit away from equaling their seasonal high of 20 base hits. And that was on the... Let's go back and check. It came up against the San Francisco Giants on the 12th of this month, a game that the Reds won 12-3 when Bill Bonham bested Vida Blue in Blue's first National League start. And Cincinnati has had 19 hits today, including 6 home runs, 3 by Rose and 1 each by Danny Dreesen, Cesar Geronimo, and Ken Griffey. Foster has had 2 singles and a run batted in and 5 times up. Myrick comes to the plate, and Foster smashes one into left field, and that is base hit number 20. So Rose has had 5, Griffey has had 3, Morgan has had 2, Foster 3 singles, Dreesen, who is at the plate now, has had a home run and a 2-run double. Concepcion with a single. Danny grounds one slowly foul at first. Geronimo has homered, doubled. Donnie Werner has singled a run in, and even the pitcher slot has accounted for a base hit and a run batted in. That came from Bourbon in the 6th inning. Everybody has gotten in on the act today. Breaking ball in the dirt, 1-1. Checks his swing, Dreesen does. 2 balls and a strike. That one is low and away. Bob Myrick throwing Danny Dreesen a variety of breaking balls and not having a great deal of success in getting him over. 3-1. That's foul back, and the count is full. Here's a payoff. Dreesen, a high bounce to the left side. Nice play by Randall. Underhands to Valentine. Throws to first, and not in time to get the double play. Foster forced at second. Len Randall to Bobby Valentine. Davey Concepcion now at the plate. 1 for 4. He singled in the 6th inning, stole a base, and scored a run. He scored 2 of Cincinnati's 14. Ball 1. Swung on, hit back into left center field, but room to play it for Lee Mazzilli. He makes the catch, 2 out. Now Geronimo. 3 RBIs and a home run and a 2-run double, 2 for 4. He was walked intentionally his last trip to the plate in the 7th. In the bottom of the 9th for the Mets, they'll be sending up Stevie Henderson, Willie Montañez, and John Stearns. Ball is high. Fastball. Geronimo, a bouncer by the mound, fielded by Flynn. The flip toss to Bobby Valentine, and that's the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left. And with the bottom of the 9th inning coming up, the Reds lead the Mets 14-7. Doug Bear 3 outs away from recording a save. It would be his 3rd of the year because he came into this game in the 6th inning. And in the 2 1/3 innings in which he has pitched, Doug has allowed the Mets no runs and 1 hit. So again, Kennedy's at second, Auerbach is at short. And the batter at the plate is left fielder Steve Henderson. Here's a high pop-up, and it is up in the air. On the right side, Kennedy waving off Dreesen. On the grass, Junior makes the catch. 1 down. Willie Montañez steps in. If you're wondering about our star of the game show today and who the guest might be with Joe down in the dugout, could it be anybody other than Pete Rose? The 2-strike pitch. Lines into left field, and Foster will have to play that on the bounce. Put Montañez at first with a single out of the wrong barrel to left field. Stearns an infield hit in the 3rd. 1 for 2. He's also walked twice. That's low for ball 4. So following the single by Montañez, Stearns draws the walk. The second allowed by Doug, and the batter is Lee Mazzilli. Pretty much assured, but he would like to be able to finish it off here. Swing, grab ball to the box. Bear drops the ball. He'll only be able to get 1 out of it, and that's on to first baseman Danny Dreesen. Could have been a double play, although with the way Mazzilli runs, certainly no guarantee, but at least a shot at it. But the ball popped out of Doug's glove, and that allows Montañez 3rd and Stearns 2nd, and brings up Bobby Valentine.
The second baseman, Bobby Valentine.
Bobby's had an excellent day. 3 singles and as many times up and 2 runs knocked in. Was up in the 3rd inning and drew an intentional walk. So the Mets are down to their final out. Bear will stretch and he will pitch. Ball 1. Ground ball, shortstop Auerbach has it, and his throw to first. This one belongs to the Reds. Here in the 9th inning, the Mets threaten, but no runs on a hit, no errors, and 2 men left on. And the final score in a wild and woolly one here at Shea this afternoon, the Reds 14 and the New York Mets 7.